at home, aren't we? I hope you're comfy and having a cup of tea. And like the Brits say, a cup of tea will cure anything. I'm not so sure of that, but I keep hoping. And you're at home, cuddled up, I hope, or at least comfy. But what do you do at home? Do you remember when you drove back and forth to work, or you took transit? Maybe some people would drive an hour or more to work and an hour back. What on earth could you have done? You listened to music, stressed out over the traffic, a lot of wasted time in your life. And right now, one of the perks of this whole thing, you're looking on the bright side, is that you have some time to do something that you really want to do. I mean, it's always easy to do nothing and take another nap with the dog and the cat. But I'm always doing something anyway, and making magic things. But I do other things as well. I love to paint. And I don't know if you have acrylic paints and paintbrushes at home, or a canvas, or something to paint on, but it's a good time to try that, and sometimes people can do what we call modern art or abstract art, and they just pour paint over a canvas in different ways, and it comes out absolutely beautiful. And there's a major artist, Jackson Pollock, his name was, and he was a major alcoholic, and he'd lay the canvas on the floor, and he would pour paint over and over and over and over on top of strings of paint. His paintings now are worth millions. Well, there's no such thing as bad art, obviously. He proved it. And the thing is that you could throw paint at a canvas. Why not? It might be fun, and you can sell your art, You can absolutely sell your art. And if you don't have real paint, well, you could get inventive. You could use some ink. If you have ink, you could take, if you have beets in the refrigerator, beets are a beautiful color, things like that to make marks. This is one of the paintings I've done. I do all different kinds, so like I said, there's no such thing as bad art. And I enjoy doing this. I try to create every day because I use the colors of creation, knowing the colors of the planets and the energy that affects us so strongly. And of course, red is the color from Mars. Mars isn't about war at all, it's about creation. And also about emotion and fire, and all these wonderful things come, and magic comes from the color red. And the color green, of course, is mostly Venus. We have the purple, of course, is Jupiter. And we have the magic eye of the universe. And that was my little rendition of that. And I do other things that, sometimes I have old jewelry, and sometimes people will give me pieces of old jewelry. I've started doing what, sort of a gothic doll art, they call it now, taking old dolls and pieces of dolls and doing things. And I'm trying to do sort of a soft goth, not something really scary, and I don't do scary. This is one of my first pieces. There she is. And the thing is, I haven't really finished this. But it's also about the future to me. The future of life and air and fire and the human race. And the other thing I do, sometimes with jewelry and beads, I do some on wire usually. I do beads like this to hang in the house. And I use the colors again of the planets. And if you don't know the colors of the planets and for their intention, the energy that they bring you, like healing energy is gold, and the leaf also represents, new life. So I used a gold leaf, and that's probably going to hang in my bedroom. Then I do this kind of beading. It's sort of multi colors, and you can hang this in the house somewhere or on a window, or just anywhere in the home. And it brings. I chose all different planetary things for different reasons, and they're at different levels of the string of beads, and it's really beautiful and lovely to do. So I spend my time doing that, and I do what we call magic cords. I don't have one to show you right now. Someone will get one for me, and I'll show you because you could be making magic cords. One of our high priestesses, Nichelle. Nichelle is an amazing psychic, and she works for Enchanted Psychics. Nichelle also, her job was in charge of running several nursing homes. She's at home now and trying to figure out what to do. And as a little girl, she said, I didn't always fit in. Of course, she's a witch now. And I didn't always fit in, but the one thing in my life that was wonderful is the magic that my grandfather gave me. He took me blueberry picking out in the woods early in the morning. It was so beautiful and peaceful. And all that magic kind of led her into all the psychic things that have happened to her. And now she has time at home. Though several psychics told her, you need to write a book about your life and how you became and how you do fit in, and you fit in beautifully as a psychic and a witch. And so now she's going to write her book, and she has the time to do some of it. Isn't that wonderful? So how many of you, I'm sure a lot of you have said, gee, I'd like to write a book. Well, boy, this is it. This is it's when are you going to be able to get this time? If you sit at home fretting about the money, the job that we're all facing, the rent, all the food, everything, all day long, it just makes it worse. It doesn't solve anything to be so frightened and so completely worried. You've got to let the universe provide and bring things to you. By creating, you create the energy to have things turn to a better state. So try to find something of your own that you know what to do. I mean, usually writing about your life is a good idea. It helps you grow from your childhood up to what you've accomplished now. And you need to feel good about what you've accomplished. No matter what it is, we all have failures. A failure, it teaches you how not to, what you should do instead of what you did. And instead of looking back, you need to look forward now. And look forward at your inner child, because the inner child has the creativity that we all have. Creation, now, Einstein was creative with numbers and formulas and mathematics, and he used to meditate. And meditate means staring out the window, and I think we're all doing a lot of that. Sitting there watching the rain or the moon, or just trying to spend our time figuring out who we are at this point. But when he did that, he reached the universal mind. And because he was thinking of mathematics, thinking of things, trying to put things together, all that information came through universal light, through his pineal gland. Meditation is slowing the electricity in the brain. That's all it is. If you close your eyes for more than 3 minutes, your brainwave lowers into alpha, what we call alpha level. That's where imagery comes in on the screen of your mind, your mind sight. And if I say to you, can you see an elephant in your mind's eye? Can you see a fire truck? Tell me what color it is, or if it has color. Now, what you're doing now is using your psychic ability right now by looking up into your brain, into the eye, and where the screen is that brings in pictures when you dream. But now you're putting pictures up there, aren't you? You're putting an elephant and a fire engine. Well then, why don't you put a picture of everyone getting well? Why don't you put a picture of exactly what you want to happen in the future? Not how to get there. Just vision yourself there. Healthy, happy, financially stable, all the things we want and need, you must project for. And of course, then you do all you can to work towards those goals. You just don't sit at home and wait, you know. It's like love magic. People always want love magic and don't really understand it, that love potions are for attraction. They're attracted. And also, when you're attracted to someone, when you do get their attention, then you have to build a relationship. They're not going to fall madly in love with you. But if you want a good relationship, you don't want to project for a specific person. You want to see yourself with the perfect person for you, and let the universe bring them to you. All right? And if you feel like maybe glamming up a little bit and looking your best, and especially when you're around other people at some point, that makes you feel better, and your self-esteem puts out all kinds of loving energy. I would like to see all of us be able to achieve something that we really can do during this time period. Healing is one of the best things the witches have always done. We're known for that. And sometimes it's herbalism and all kinds of things like that. But it's also magic. Magic's real. And magic is projecting light energy into an object or a place or a person or a situation. We all can do that. I would like very much to see some of you who may not understand totally what witchcraft really is. It certainly isn't devil worship. We didn't know there was one. Maybe we would have if we knew, but we didn't. So I think if you were start to read a few books about it, you could decide for yourself. We're not going to recruit you. We don't want you if you don't, if you have to be coaxed to be magical. Mm-mm. My first book, called Power of the Witch, is very basic. I didn't write over my head. It's an easy read. And I talk about my childhood, how it all came to be, and how it was there without understanding that's what it was. And then in the book, it's basically a how-to book, how to be a witch. It has a little history in it, etc. I think a lot of you would resonate to the book. You'll think, gee, I could have written this book. And it's been in print since the 80s. And I'm sure there are used copies somewhere. It wouldn't hurt you too much if you would read something like that. You know, it would be nice to see that happen. I want you to like and share, please, when you're on with us, so other people can enjoy this time and we're going to do psychic readings with just one card. When I teach tarot, that's one of the first things I say is you should be able to read someone with one card. You should know what they had for breakfast and et cetera, with that one card. So we start out like that in the tarot class. It's not that easy, but it's practice. It is simple, but it's not necessarily. Nothing is easy. You have to always practice everything to be good at it. I've been practicing now for, about, let's see, about at least 60 years. So I should be able to do something. But I see all these new, beautiful young witches, male and female, going far beyond me. They're much more psychic than I am. And that's okay. That's what we want, isn't it? Oh, by the way, one of my friends, my best friends, Faith, who's in Cornwall, she sends, when we're talking about creating, we also do magic spell bottles, and in my magic cords, I have bags of herbs, and sometimes I put pieces of herbs and leaves and twigs that come from different countries and different magical places. And Faith, by the way, she's in Cornwall near the fairy woods. I'm out of twigs and leaves. I need some, Faith. So if you could send me some fairy energy. And I'm sure people who get the cord with the fairy energy might be surprised at the activity they have in their home afterwards. Fairies are very active. I think that I'll show you a cord right now because there's so many different ways. Here's the top. Here's the top. There's so many different ways to make a magic cord. Of course, this is the colored cord that we buy, and of course all the beads, as you can see. And a bottle, we hang a bottle, and in the bottle, usually there's some either crystals and herbs and or twigs and things from the fairy woods, or from some sacred place in Greece or Rome, and a spell, a handwritten spell for the intention. And at each bag here, each one of the bags has the herbs in it, and they smell so good. The beads are the proper colors for drawing in the energy, and then we have a spell, and the spell is on the cord as well. But you could improvise, couldn't you? See, this is the spell that's handwritten, and on the cord, and this is the way you hang it up. But you know something? You could improvise. When I first started, way back, I started cords way back in the 70s, Penny.
Mm-hmm.
And all I used was this brown string, like cord, that used for wrapping packages and things. And I tied 9 knots in it.
And chicken bones.
And chicken bones, after we had a roast chicken. Why? Because we were honoring the animal life and using that energy for healing. So what we would do is add a couple of bags. You couldn't buy these in those days, in 1970. No one was making those in those days. In fact, I had the mayor's mother-in-law were making these bags for me. And putting pebbles, stones. You could even put spells in the bag if you wanted to, for a specific intention. And then, like I said, now this is, of course, quite fancy, and the beading is there's a key also, and the key is a symbol, of opening doors and all kinds of symbolism. And the cards, as I have on here, have the same intention. And these are such beautiful cards, as you can see. But you could improvise, and if you have ribbons, it doesn't have to be fancy. It could be very earthy, crunchy, I call it,
And of course, they can get yours at Enchanted if they should.
and
want one.
you know, and a few, like I said, twigs are important. Why? Because certain trees have, and all trees have energy, life force. Especially now. This is why I'm asking Faith to go to the fairy woods, because it's spring, and all the dead leaves and the twigs have the culmination of all of the winter's power, and we might want to use that also to draw in energy for rebirth and healing. That's a possibility. I keep saying you're not supposed to do that when you're doing public speaking, but this isn't sort of that kind of public speaking. It's just off the cuff for me. Here's to you. I have to have my cup of tea. English breakfast tea is my favorite. So now if you want to call in and for one card reading, I'll do my best and use my psychic ability. Oh my goodness, can I read this to you? This is, Lisa Ann said her uncle saw you back when you were on Derby Street and you gave him a reading. You told him that he would be locked out of place when they went home and could not get in your house, in our house. He was in shock that you said that could happen. She went to grammar school with Penny. Well, what happened? Did they get locked out? Why would I say something so awful? That's not my norm.
You said he would get locked out of a place. They left.
A place.
Yeah, when they left your reading to go home, they were locked out of their house.
Oh, they did get locked out of their house. Oh my goodness,
And he had just had a reading with you.
Oh, I'm so glad. You're telling me I said something absolutely horrible, but it was for the best, wasn't it? And that's the whole purpose of this, is to help people. That's why we use our psychic ability. That's why you call for readings. It's a little bit of guidance. Sometimes it's even better than a psychologist. But it all depends on, we also have to be careful how we say things. We don't ever predict death. And if the death card did come up, it means, to us, it means transition, a change. That means everything's changing for you. Doesn't mean you're going to die. In fact, the card should never be used in that fashion. I don't know how many of you have a deck of cards, but while we're doing this every Tuesday and Thursday night, you might as well go on Amazon and buy a deck of cards, or call Enchanted and get a deck of cards, and maybe you could start learning with us while we're doing this. So I'm going to do a one card reading now. It's Carmen Lemire. Carmen, I'll see what happens. I'm trying to shuffle. I can't shuffle cards. I'm very bad at it. So all I can do is a little bit of this, and then I end up with one on the floor usually. And I don't ever believe that the one on the floor is meaningful. I just put it back in the deck, to be honest. I never turn my cards upside down because there are enough cards in the deck that depict something not nice. You don't have to have a good and a bad calling for every card. You have to have some good cards. And that's the way the deck was meant to be. It's not meant to be turned upside down. Okay, Carmen. Interesting, Carmen. I have to put as you know, you who follow and are here with me, know that I have to put on these. I can't see. Wow, this is a powerful card. It's the King of Wands. Now, what could that possibly mean for you? Carmen, it could represent a man in your life that is very powerful and, again, creative. But I really think this is a spirit guide, someone from your past, a relative maybe that's in the other world and trying to help you now. And you should try to stop and listen and see if that person comes into your mind, if you can sense someone around you, because this person, because of the wand is it's a staff, it's a walking stick, but a magic wand can make things happen. They're real, and they exude energy. So if he's carrying a wand, he must be a magical person around you. Think about it. And we have Lorna Reynolds. Lorna. My goodness, you got the world, the entire world. Now what could that possibly mean? Only one. It means that everything you do right now, it's your calling to touch the world, to do something for the world. You may already be doing that. You may be one of those people out on the front line risking their own life to help others. But if you're not, that doesn't mean the things that you do might not touch. They might touch the world. We certainly can do that with our computers. So it depends on how you speak on the computer, how you deliver information to people in a kind and intelligent way. Polly Shay. The Ace of Swords, Polly. The Ace of Swords is complete force, using extreme force. It doesn't necessarily mean a battle. We don't use the sword. In the Cabot tradition, our swords are supposed to be replicas of Excalibur. But we don't use a sword for battle or for war, only for magic, like a magic wand. And this sword says that you have great strength, but you must use it for the good of all. When you project for something, no matter how much you want something, at the end of your projection, your prayer, your spell, ask that it should be good for all, and then you'll get what you ask for. And Shannon Pack. Shannon, that's a nice Irish name, isn't it? I wonder if Shannon ever did step dancing. You have the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups is like a party. It means that things are going well. It's a universal number 3. So it means that you are protected right now. You need to project and see the future in a good light, no matter how drastic things are for you right now. Things will change. You will do well. That's what this is about, and you need to thank and be grateful to the universe for all you do have. Erica Bowers. Erica, let's see. Ooh, Page of Coins. Now the page, if it was a person, it could be a boy or a girl, and it's a young person who either can make money or has made money, or this person would help you with money. But as a card of money alone, if this is not a person, it could be a message of the way that you will be able to balance your finances. There's some kind of a message maybe coming to allow you to know you're going to be okay. Dusty England. Dusty. The Fool card. Now what does that mean? It means that someone around you is behaving in a very silly way, being ignorant, not doing what they should do right now. This is a person that might not be wearing their mask. basically. This is someone that may think they're invincible. No matter what you say to this person, they may not listen to you, so you need to stay far from them. It's not a good companion. Lynn Dewey. Was it Dewey? Somebody named Dewey running for president at one time? I don't know. Well, of course I remember because I've been here since the 30s. It's ancient history to most people. We have the 9 of coins. Again, the number 9 perpetuates itself. That's a fact. It's not a mystical thing. And the Beatles did a song called, and in it says number 9, number 9, number 9. But the number 9 means that it will continue, that it will never stop. So your income of finance won't stop. It's going to continue. So let's not fret. I know I can say this to you. You say, what is she talking about? I don't have a dime right now. Things are bad. I don't have my job anymore. You know, there are all kinds of things going on for people. But in the essence of magic, this is telling you, relax just a little bit and let the universe take over. There are ways it can happen that you could never imagine. Lun Young. Wow, 10 of Cups. The 10 of Cups. Oh, it's Laurie. Okay. I need my other glasses for the long distance. Sorry. The 10 of Cups is, again, it's everything you need is coming for you. Whatever you need is coming for you and your family. As long as your family sticks together. That's the big rub here, is that you have to communicate with your family in order to make things begin to work for you. Deb Bryan. Oh, Deb, you have the 6 of coins. These coins cards are coming up. Isn't that nice? The 6, the number 6 also is a universal number, meaning, again, that the universe can play a part, magic can play a part in the way you spend your money is more important than, well, it's not more important, the money will come. But how you spend that money you really need to rethink how you're spending money, not only now, but in the future. You know, we think back and we say, well, when I went to the grocery store, I used to buy just exactly what I needed for that week, and I didn't buy anything else. Well, now we know that's not the way to do it. Because my mother went through the big depression in the late 20s and early 30s, she always would buy extra everything when she went to the grocery store and store it. And Jimmy Kimmel was on Ellen today, and Jimmy Kimmel says they're doing fine because he's one of those people. He says, I have cans and cans of food and pasta and flour and all the things you need to make bread, and because that's what he does. He constantly stores food in case there's a storm, in case the lights are out. I mean, we have to prepare for this now. And I don't want to get too maudlin and talk about this awful time we're having, but the fact is we need to wake up. We need to wake up. Think hardy. If you're young and you want to have a family, think twice about it, about having a child. It's not easy. It's not easy for the child either. Even though you might think I would be a great mother, great father, it might not be the time for you. You need to allow yourself to think in that fashion. And of course, if you want one, that's different. You just simply do that, of course. No one can stop you, or should. I think we should think also about preparing ourselves for many, many different things of hardships. Just like we might be pioneers, you know, when this country first opened. when people first came here. You have to grow your own food, basically, even if it's a window box. It's a possibility, you know. And some foods you can actually, you know, vegetables and things you can actually grow indoors, right in the kitchen or in the house somewhere. And why not? Why not get that's something you might be studying right now. That's one of the things that is creative that you should probably think about. And if you don't know how to do it, guess what? You can learn on the internet, on your computer, on your phone. There's all kinds of tutorials about how to do that. Why not take your time to learn something new now? This is very important, and think of a new lifestyle. We don't have robots taking over for us yet, or taking over. Now, we have, wait a minute, we have Michael Wood. Michael, I'm going to shuffle again because I've been talking and not paying attention to this. The Emperor. An emperor, of course, is someone who is an authority. I think that that's exactly what this is saying for you, that you need to find information that has already been proven, or the right rules and regulations that you need for things around you. You need to educate yourself in some fashion to know the next step in your life, know what you can and cannot do legally. All right, and go to an authority to find out. And it's a very tough time for you, a tough time of learning. Tabitha Singleton. Tabitha. Oh, remember her? Or maybe not, you're too young. Bewitched was kind of the first witch show on television. Tabitha was the baby witch. Tabitha, King of Cups. Money, but wisdom. The king is the teacher of witchcraft. Yep, this is a guide. It might be a book in your hand. It might be a book you need to read about witchcraft and your psychic ability. It's nothing to be afraid of. It doesn't mean if you read the book you have to be a witch. It's just knowledge, understanding, well, at least understanding who we are. We've been maligned for over 2,000 years, and now, of course, we're legal. We're recognized by the government as a religion. However, we're a path of life. It's the way you live, how you think, how you use your abilities with your mind and your energies, how you heal and help people, help the universe. It's all part of witchcraft. Jimmy Russell. Jimmy was a boy in grammar school in the 4th grade. And Jimmy was in love with me. It was so funny. And he was such a nice kid. And he kept bringing me gifts all the time. His family had a great deal of money, so he would bring me some pretty nice things. And of course, it was very difficult not to accept them, but I didn't feel the same way. The 3 of Coins. There's some way you can change the way you make money, the change you earn your keep. You may have to think out of the box with a job to take, it's tough. Sometimes we've studied, gone to college, or at least we've worked at a job for years and years and we know it well. And yet at this point in time, you might have to simply drop that. And like I said, pick up a paintbrush or become a baker, a chef, or so many opportunities and so many different ways of earning a living, and they're all available. We just haven't allowed ourselves to think of it. And now, like I said, with a computer, you can learn anything, anything at all, and get yourself established in a whole different career. Melissa Heron. My goodness, isn't that interesting? The Eight of Cups. Stair steps. Stair steps. Look at this card. This person is walking upstairs towards the moon. That represents recognizing your own emotions, learning to control them, actually thinking about your moon energy and what it does to you. How high are your emotions? Are you out of the box, screaming, yelling, crying, sad? The control of your emotions now, whether you think you have the control or not, I doubt it. This says you should rethink your emotions right now. Lisa Inman. Inman, that's the name of a fabulous model. Fabulous, she's fabulous. You have the sun god, Lisa. The sun is healing. Also, again, the sun represents money, treasure, success in all you do. So you have a chance now to be extremely successful. Aaron St. Louis. Isn't St. Louis a city? And that's his name actually, or is that where he lives? Okay. Okay, ooh. Aaron. The lovers. What does that represent now? Not exactly what it looks like or what it says. It represents also combining your anima and animus of loving yourself. The male and female in you is what drives us and what keeps us alive and happy. If we deny our own goodness and our own talents and only look at our mistakes, you're going to feel low self-esteem, and low self-esteem is a killer. It will tear your body apart and your mind, but it will hurt you physically to have low self-esteem. So it's time for you to reassess all the goodness in your life and in your own thinking, which is important. Marie Heidi. Again, Heidi, there's that name, and I think of Shirley Temple when she did a movie. And I was 3 years old when I saw it. Strength. Every one of us needs this card. This card is about dredging up from the bottom of our boots to do what we have to do to make it through our lives right now. Using your strength and your power like you've never done before. Be bold. There's nothing that says you're going to be too bold. If you need things and you want things, it's time to go for it. Be as strong as your body and mind can allow you to be. Shannon Cassidy. Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, that was a movie. Did you ever see it?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's old, of course. Every movie I talk about is so old, nobody has heard of it. Ace of Coins. Wow. Look at that. But that also is a pentacle. Coins also represent wisdom and witchcraft. Shannon, this means you're probably very psychic. You come from a Celtic line of people. which are witches. Our ancestors all lived witchcraft. And it's in you, it's part of you. Also the fae, the fairy blood, the Picts and the fairy blood that we have is real. And that brings forth a lot of ability to use your psychic mind and your energy to manifest things and to project things and to heal. It's a powerful way of living, and especially if you do it without harming anyone. We can't harm people. We don't need to anyway. If you have a protection shield around you, why would you have to harm someone? You don't. You just neutralize them and send them on their way. If I didn't know how to do that, I wouldn't be this old. I would have been gone a long time ago. Wendy Palacio? Okay. Knight of Cups. Knight. That means that someone who has some kind of authority. It's either, it could be a soldier, it could be a military, and it could be a lawyer, it could be a doctor. There's someone coming to help you. Someone that is able to champion you and help you and get you through a specific problem. Linda Gehring. Okay. Oh, Lydia. Oh boy, I told you I have to have two pairs of glasses on at the same time. Okay. Lydia. Faith. It means that you must understand that good can happen. Things will change. Whatever your spiritual path is, trust it now. If you believe in a single God, that's fine. You go to that deity for that, whoever it is for you. If it's your gods and goddesses of your ancestors, you go to them now and trust that the universal mind and the people in the other world will help you now. But you must talk to them. You must trust them. Barbara Goslin. Ooh, Barbara. The Magician. It's just so blatant. The Magician card, of course, he looks, this one makes it look like Merlin. See? Oh, by the way, Faith, I don't know if you're near Merlin's castle. I know Tintagel, his cave on the ocean is in Cornwall. But I think the castle, the ruins of his castle are supposed to be on the hill above it. I don't know if you're near it, but I would love a tiny little stone from Merlin's castle. This is the magic of the universe in your hands. If you already understand it and you already are practicing your magic, it simply means that you need to go a step further. You need to read more or find an elder to help you. Helen Rose. The King of Swords. Helen, we as women should not allow any male person to lord over you, tell you what to do, or what you should be and what you shouldn't be, because that's not love if that's your partner. But if it's also someone around you who is not speaking to you in the correct way and giving you support and loving you for who you are, liking you even for who you are, it's a red flag. It's a no. Heather Rivers. I once did a show when Joan Rivers had her own show for a short time, and I was honored. She came to Salem and she bought candles and things at my shop. She practiced and she did a good job of it too. Lovely. She was not as caustic as she was with her humor. She was pretty much the opposite. Very kind, generous. She definitely was a witch. I enjoyed that show so much, being with her. This is the Queen of Coins. That also represents wisdom, learning, education. This is need of education from the highest source. It's time to study. Study something new, study something that you already know further. It's important for you to learn about the entire world, different cultures, different ways of living, different people. You know, we have to live in a world where we're all one. No matter if you were green. We're not green, by the way, we're never green. I hate that. But if we were, you need to understand us. If we, it doesn't matter our color or our faith or anything. We're humans on earth. We're all here together and we need to live together. So prejudice is out of the question. Alex Branco. Six of Cups. Look at this. The six again, we said this before, it's one of the universal numbers, which brings in total. When I keep speaking about the universe, the universal light carries information. Light goes through your brain, and that's why we pick up information we wouldn't normally have, is because that if we pay attention to sometimes that information coming through, we can gain a lot of knowledge that way and use it for magic. This is a universal number. It's about paying attention again. This is about your two sides, the balancing of you and the relationship you have with others. You need to understand the side of everyone. There has to be two sides to things. It's not always one way. And I think we need to understand that more. Sharon Mason. The Four of Wands. Wow, imagine 4 magic wands. Isn't that something, huh? They work. It's charging. Charging means you're infusing your light energy from your body into the aura or light energy that exists in an object. When you're holding something, if you hold it long enough, you automatically, your energy, light energy, enters molecularly into the system and the light of the object you're holding. This is why we can change and use things for magic, for help. 4 Wands, it's like a fortress. It means you need to lock doors, you need to solidify all the things you need right now around you. Take care of yourself. I don't see, the danger out there is already there. It's life-taking danger. It's a threat of all times that, when we don't pay attention to the rules of wearing masks and washing our hands and all those things that sound so simple. It's not about that. It's about not passing on anything to someone else. That's almost murder if you allow yourself to pass on a virus that you may have on your hands or your clothing, and we don't know when we have it. It takes weeks sometimes for it to manifest. I neutralize that. But the facts are that we can't touch others. We can't mingle. We need to follow the rules and fortify even your home. When we get a package from Amazon or whatever, or delivery, Penny wears these wonderful rubber gloves. They're fabulous. And she sprays the package first with Lysol, and then she takes wipes and wipes it down, and then opens it before she even brings it in the house. Everything is totally disinfected. And that's fortification. And then when she goes out to the mailbox and comes back, she cleans the mailbox and the doorknob that she's touched to come into the house. And, you know, it's everything. It's because it's vital. Because you don't want to hurt anyone. And, of course, you don't want to hurt yourself by not paying attention to the rules. And, like, I know that's a harsh word, murder, but imagine if you passed it on to someone and they died out of your carelessness. I couldn't live with that. That would be haunting me. Tommy, artist. Oh, I hope that means you're an artist. But it's a nice name too. Priestess. One of the highest cards in the deck is the Priestess. And that means creation. Again, I talked before we started the cards, we talked about using your creative abilities, no matter what they are. You know, if you're, learn to make bread, learn how to mix flour with water, or, whatever. We talked about magic chords, we talked about painting, and there's so many ways to use your creativity. And writing a book or a journal, keeping tabs of everything, exploring things and inventing something even. That would be amazing, because this is what you have is great creation, and it's going to be successful. Cindy Lee. Cindy Crawford. I did a children's show in Manhattan, way back in the late 70s, I think. Kiss was on the show too, and Cindy Crawford. My goodness, she's silly, but she's so nice. Beautiful woman. Two of Wands. The Two of Wands, again, that every time we get a two, it also means putting two things together to make it powerful, balancing things. And it also means as above, so below. A hermetic lesson for you, as we draw things down from the upper universes to this one. They're the same, and we need to clean air, clean the earth. You need to balance things a little more in your life right now, and you can do it. You have to think about how and what you're going to do about it. Rick Briggs. Oh boy, these cards is so amazing. Most of the money cards have come up all night, haven't they? And this is the Four of Coins. And several times it didn't really mean coins, it meant pentacles and wisdom and learning. And of course the four, again, is fortification, really and truly learning how to do something in a correct way, making sure you do the right steps, one step after the other. Don't try to leap from now to the end without learning how to get there. This is different. This is the physical plane. Using the instructions to things is very important. Well, that's my last reading for the evening. And I hope it's helpful, of course, because that's why I'm doing it, is to try to give you a little heads up and help you with your life if I can. It's my job, and I'm happy to do that for you. And you know, living the life of a witch, we know one thing. Every ending is a beginning, and for witches that's law. From where we enter in, from there we must withdraw. A magic circle. Good night. I love you all. I really do.